All right, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. So as you can see, we're breaking back above those previous all-time highs, 18,707, and you're mounting them. That's exactly what we want to see. Now things get even better, but we're going to look here first is the 4-hour time frame. That break, the retest, and continuation. What you want to see there. Let's get rid of the VWAP and the 90 EMA, and let's just really dive into exactly what we're looking at here, right? So the biggest things I want to see: one, we're making a support here as well now from our Lux algo level. You zoom out a little bit further, we go to the daily. This is the chart that gets me the most excited right here. Okay, so not only did we break above it yesterday and hold above it to finish the day, but today you come back into that level, you retest and you bounce. Strong finish. All eyes on this, pushing into, in my opinion, my personal opinion, 19K. I think you have lots of room to go. I mean, only 200 points of upside from here. Very likely, lots of good signs of continuation. Now, the issue here of stuff I don't like, volume has been piss poor. Okay, that's the interesting part. You can see, very, very lackluster so far, and that's just on Nasdaq. When we take a better look, we go to something like SPY, and we look at this action here. It's terrible. 37 million yesterday, 30 million today. We go and look at that data, right? Not what you like to see here. We go really quick into SPY. I don't want to spend too much time here, but we look at SPY and you get a better visual of that volume and what's happening. Average Monday volume has been around 60. Tuesday around 70 million. We're cutting those numbers in half, right? We're very, 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 very low volume coming into these days. Now, we do have big news coming in tomorrow that's going to be major, and that will affect the entire move that's happening here on the S&P and the Nasdaq. But it's still worth mentioning that volume is still lackluster. But it's also important to realize you don't have to have high volume to get continuation. You only typically need to see a breakout in volume for a reversal or potentially a breakout level. Now, really quickly, let's go into our sponsor.
And now let's briefly talk about my favorite investing app and the sponsor of today's video. If you're interested in trading the exact same broker in which I'm using for options and what I'm doing market research on, this is exactly who I'm using. This is Moomoo. This is their platform on their desktop. You can also check it out for the mobile app as well. This is their live news feed. And if you're thinking about making the switch right now is a pretty good time, because right now they're doing a 1.5% cash reward up to $300 if you transfer in. Or if you're just getting started and you want to kickstart your journey, Moomoo is giving you 5 in each of the Magnificent 7 stocks when you make a qualified bonus. You can go down and scroll and see all of this. It's right there on their website. Check them out. The link is down below.
And also, you guys like Moomoo. I'm really happy that a lot of the feedback that you guys have been giving, but also too, if you guys have things that you want to see different maybe on the platform of Moomoo, please let me know. Specifically on Twitter, I read a lot of you guys' comments. I try to go over all the notifications, things like that. But yeah, so if you have questions or things that you would like to be different, let me know, because I'm in constant contact with those guys. And the whole point of this collaboration is to have the best options platform for you guys, options traders, right? So again, I can't promise that those things will be handled, but I do get a good opportunity to put in a good word on a lot of these things that have been changed and happening on the platform. Okay, so Nasdaq, biggest things going on here. Let's actually get the volume indicator, bring it all the way down. And again, really simple. There's no need to overcomplicate this. As long as you're above 18,707, you're bullish. You're looking for that 19K push. ES, the S&P 500. And this is another reason why I think you have more room to go. We're looking at the daily chart here. You're above your massive level. Very strong, looking for a breakout. I think this is going to get a good sign of continuation. Now, when I look at stocks today, Apple, boom, monster push. Great signs of continuation, finally. Working its way back into resistance down near 196, 198. And if you guys are interested in the Lux algo indicators, our volume indicator down there, or order blocks, things along those lines, so some key levels as well. The link is down below, code OD40 for 40% off. Make sure you test it out. Okay, but Apple, really nice push. Favorite stock on the day, easily Microsoft. Now, you could have had a better close. I'm not going to lie. You could have had a little bit of a better one. You wanted to see a breakout and a hold above 430. That would have been the most ideal. The end of the day, near 429. After hours, are around 430 right now. Now, Microsoft, I think, has a lot of room for continuation. They're taking advantage of what's happening with ChatGPT and making basically the AI version into these computers, which their Surface Pro. That was announced today, and you won't need internet connection to use these new platforms as well. That's the crucial thing here, and they're competing directly with the MacBook, right? So pretty awesome what they're doing. I think they have real a real chance of succeeding. But again, I want to see a hold above 430, getting a push out. All-time highs are here. I think this thing could run towards 450. That's my personal opinion, especially with NVIDIA earnings tomorrow. That's going to be major. Now, we're going to go into some option chain stuff here in a second. So wait a sec, or just skip ahead to that part if you want to. But really quick, let's look at Earning Whispers, okay? If you guys don't know, Earning Whispers is not a shout out. This is just one of the platforms I use for all my earnings information. NVIDIA reports earnings tomorrow, 20 minutes after market close. It's going to be interesting. Again, the interesting part here on NVIDIA is one, you're ready to explode. Like just here on the chart, you are ready to explode here on the daily. I mean, this is one of the best looking charts I've seen. Okay. Monster, beautiful. I love it. On the other part of this, NVIDIA is getting countless price target raises, right? Countless. No one expects this thing to miss. So that being said, is the bar set a little high? I think trading the options, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot because the IV is so high. And then the other part of this is when you go to some of the data here, right? We go look at price action data, go really quickly down to earnings performance. Let's look at NVIDIA just for a second. You're going to notice something, okay? Let's look at 10 days prior, 10 days after. 10 days prior, you get some decent movement. When earnings happen, not too much happens. 10 days after earnings, you get more movement. Go to 3 days. Within the 3 days into earnings, not that much movement. Earnings, not that much movement. After, good movement. But you're going to notice the more time after earnings, the bigger the percent move. What does that mean? You're getting a lot of your move on NVIDIA and a lot of these earnings, on a lot of these stocks post earnings, right? So you don't even have to take the risk going into them. You get to actually look at the data, look at what happened from those earnings and how the market's actually reacting to it as well. So again, I don't think there's a reason to YOLO into this, go crazy or anything like that, because the data even shows you that you can be patient and still make a lot of money. And the fact is this, if NVIDIA breaks over, 973 and breaks 1,000, it's most likely running into 1,100, 1,150. Highly likely. I look at something like AVGO, for instance. You remember when we traded this one way back here when it finally broke above like $1,000 and then it ran straight to, 1,150 and then again to 1,300? Very similar in my opinion of things that I would expect. And AVGO has a slightly smaller market cap than NVIDIA. Well, it's smaller. It is much smaller. But I still think the opportunity's there. I like it, what I'm looking at there. Now, when I say that though, you go into something like NVIDIA and we look at options on NVIDIA. I don't want people to be YOLOing here because, again, when we look at the overall chain, even if you're going for next week contracts, you're still paying a pretty penny, right? And your measure move is going to be quite large. I think it's about a 6% measure move of what you expect to happen here. So pretty crazy. I wouldn't be going nuts. Do what you got to do. I still like it, though. If I'm looking at anything, I like names like AMD. I think AMD is a value play, okay? I'm going to go into the stock here in a sec. But you can go for something like June monthlies, 170s, 580. Those are dirt cheap. Okay. Let's go look at AMD. Why do I like it so much? The deal with Microsoft, huge. You're sitting basically right above your 2021 previous all-time high. This was your 2021 all-time high. Targets into 174.7, 174 roughly. That was your main level back here. Remember when we mounted above it for like 3 months, right? That's what you want to see. Back into that level. That's your first target, then 185, right? But again, I think you're getting value plays across the board. I still think you can make money on NVIDIA. I'm not saying that it's not a good stock to trade. It is. But you don't have to associate all that risk, in my opinion. Personally, my opinion. Now, really quickly, too, this week, I've gone over this already pretty in depth, but you have nothing really happening this week besides a bunch of FOMC speakers. You have some home sales on Wednesday, and you have some jobless claims on Thursday. That's pretty much it, okay? So it's again not a huge week for data. It's not. It's just a lot of Fed speakers, and we already know what they're going to kind of say there. So again, keep your head on a swivel, be patient, but again, still like it. So AMD, I do like it. In comparison to NVIDIA options, a lot cheaper. They have been volatile as well. I like it. Now, my favorite stock, though, right now is 100% Microsoft. It's really that simple. Let me take this off so it's a little bit cleaner. I think Microsoft wants to get a breakout run, and Microsoft moves in a very similar fashion at all times. You range trade, you break out, you get your bulk of remove, and then you range trade again. You can see here, you broke out, you ranged, you broke out, same thing, right? You know, I can go over and over and over and over again on Microsoft chart. It's very similar at all times. So again, you're getting that pattern, trying to break over 430, get the breakout. Again, I'm not usually a fan of buying at all-time highs, but I think what Microsoft is doing makes a lot of sense. So again, if the market gets continuation from NVIDIA, I think Microsoft is one of the names that's going to get good volatility, and that's not already priced in out egregiously, okay? So that's what I like there. I'd be watching it very close. DXY continues to show weakness, sitting right on its 200. Once that breaks, it's going to just absolutely get its legs kicked in. We also looked at oil. Continues to look weak, rejecting off the 200 daily moving average, gonna come down to 200 weekly, and that's gonna be your ultimate test down there. But as long as oil is weak, what do we know? The market looks great, especially inflation data. The 30-year yield also just kind of looks weak, flatlining, waiting to break the 200 SMA. Once that happens, we expect buyers to take a more aggressive stance. Again, Bitcoin as well. You're mounting 69.2K. That's our key level. Monster breakout over the past day and a half, basically. But look, we were bouncing, and the level hasn't changed. Break, retest, trying to hold up. I think Bitcoin's going to be pushing all-time highs pretty soon here. You just got wind as well that it's highly likely, I posted this on Twitter, that the Ethereum ETF will be approved, right? That's a sole ETF. That'll actually be crazy. But yeah, SEC just informed exchanges it's leaning towards approving spot Ethereum ETFs. Very important. When that happens, Ethereum will erupt. It'll probably run to 4,500, 5,000 very quickly. Again, these are all bullish senses across the market and things that I love overall. So reasons why I'm trying to stay ahead of these and why I'm watching them so closely. Definitely love what's actually taking place here. Another thing I want to talk about is Robinhood. Okay, one stock I've been talking a lot about. When we were dropping down to 16.5, everyone was panicking. Okay. Now, my options, Robinhood, I still hold them on a different broker. They're not on my Moomoo one because I didn't want to close those all the way out. So Robinhood, again, go look at some like the 2025 contracts. I mean, 2025, I have 2026s as well. They're still so cheap, in my opinion. The $25 ones are $3.50. To me, it's criminal. I can't believe it. They're still this cheap. It's crazy. 2026s, it gets even cheaper in my opinion. Around $6 for 25s, 30s, around $5. Not as big of a deal. If you bought them when we bought, then obviously you're a lot happier. But yeah, so again, I still love Robinhood. Still looks great. You're holding up. I think you're going to get really nice here. Also, too, we look at Robinhood's chart. We zoom all the way out. By the way, you have no liquidity basically until $28 minimum. But my first target is I'm targeting $33. I think Robinhood's a steal. And if you got into it, congratulations. I'm happy for you because it's a monster deal. Last thing I'm going to mention is going to be Amazon. I'll go into options here as well. You came back down into your key level near 180.2. You came right back into that breakout level. Boom. A very close 180.6, and you're bouncing so far. If you can get back above this little swing high and hold, which you kind of are doing right now, you look good. But I'm also watching this little level here. So it's like a little bit of a zone. Get above 183.5. I think you look really good at that point. I also think Amazon's options are pretty affordable for most people. The issue, though, is you've gotten to all-time highs and you just can't break out. But again, I like June contracts overall. Not too far, not too close. Very cheap, even almost near at the money at 185s. That's what I'd be looking at personally. Very, very cheap contracts. But again, I'm looking for opportunity at all times. I'm not just looking for the names that are moving the best. I'm looking for the names that should be moving better. So again, these are the names I like. These are the names I'm watching. If you have questions, comment down below. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one, traders.